it's Skim Bradsteen again. Today, I want to share with you a message for me and some poems afterwards. So, here it goes. As a writer, I have suffered failure and criticism. I have went through the bouts of depression and been at either spectrum of highs and lows. As a writer, I utilize these low and high points filled with emotion to create what I call my work, which is the Skim Bradsteen's Poetical Genius series. I started writing as a young 5-year-old, creating fake newspapers for my neighbors to read. I never quite liked those, but they supported it nonetheless. Then in second and third grade, I discovered poetry and short stories. Poetry has always been a fascination of mine. Even when I was a young kid, I loved the rhythm. Didn't so much like poems that didn't rhyme. It didn't really fancy me. So, I first started to pursue short stories, which were very, very popular among my teachers. They loved my writing. They clamored on about it. Even when I reached college, there were teachers always talking about my writing. When I was 15, I began writing poetry, the skill I didn't master overnight, and certainly not in 3 or 4 years' time. It was when I was 20 that I then began to master my skill through a series of events. A lot of stuff happened that forced the hand of nature, I guess you could say. This period of my life between 18 and 20 was a chaotic mess after another, which wreaked havoc on my life until I no longer allowed it to. Then almost instantly I began to write beat for beat, word for word, and rhythm I could have sworn I'd never mastered. It was like a switch turned on inside my head, and I couldn't stop writing no matter how badly I wanted to, if I even wanted to. It is a very talented blessing I cherish every day. It is a blessing to write so many amazing, eye-popping things that were inspired by love, life, people, religion, philosophy, faith, space, God, darkness, and evil, and many, many other things. I mean, you guys even inspire me sometimes. I have a lot of people that inspire me on a daily basis. So, though I am a writer, I am first a human being. So from this human being to all of you human beings, I thank you for being a fan and supporting my work, encouraging me through my good and bad times, telling me that it's always worth it to keep writing. I thank all of you. So these next poems are all for you guys. The first poem I'm going to read for you guys is called Sea of Hope. I wrote this last year, and I think it flows really well, and I think all of you will like it. Okay. Peaceful running is the water of the sea, elegantly flowing downstream, across strange lands, over many countries, filling the banks with fresh fish to eat. And when it flows and the sun sets just right, you can see its reflection dancing in the night. A vast sea of beauty and significance excites some and others weary. For the few things that need finding, I assume they've gone sailing. May the waves speed your journey, the winds liven up your mornings, leave the dusk to settle and the clouds to warning. So shall they ever find that silver lining. Some offer a yes, others a no. In between, I believe, it lies with hope. And that was Sea of Hope. The next one is called As I Wake to See a Ghost. This one was inspired by a dream of mine in 2010, actually. So here this one goes. And I can't seem to get this temptation out of my head. A light keeps burning the outer reaches of my bed. Beginning to rise to see a surprise, someone was staring quite angrily at me. The figure was bleak and sort of transparent. She said her name was Terence. As frightened as I was, we began to converse, a story a mile long of how she was thrown into a hearse. Making her face reality was a poetic love story. Murdered by her own malicious Mallory. Found it to be kind of boring, but in the end I told her I'll publish her story. And like I said, I wrote that 2 years ago, so if I would have written it this year, I probably would have lengthened it, added some depth to it, because as you can see, it didn't seem to really have a very well ended, but it works, I guess. It's short, sweet, and to the point. The next one is called The Weaveless Relationship. I spit these rhymes like it's no waste of time, leading the way, got my foot out of line. Stepping aside, seeing the weaves, although blind, I find peace of mind. In this state, I'm trying to be kind, walking away with all I could find. Left you here with only a dime, speaking the truth, meant it was the last time. We chose these words, but I feel fine. Letting go is easier now, because 10 years ago I had no way out. Here I am with all this life, 37, and my new wife. 2 kids that are 10 and 12. We could never have that, because we needed help. Oh, the bickering and fighting that went on for days. It was almost like we were stuck in a cage. Days and years, finally it ended, with barely any tears. I walked away, you walked too. We had our time, but the weaves fell through. And that was The Weaveless Relationship. Basically, I based it off of the weaves of a web, that if there's no base or the web isn't finished, you starting a relationship before you're fully mature to start the relationship. Basically, the weaves will fall through and the relationship will end. So that was kind of where I was getting at with the weaveless relationship. So that's all the poems I have for you guys tonight. I will try and get back on here as soon as possible and post more. I've been kind of laid up with all my school studies. 3 more weeks to go and I'll be out for the summer. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.